Hey, what's up, everybody? Today we are going to talk about some viewer questions. We're going to talk about pair programming. We're going to talk about a little bit how you structure your projects. And if you have any questions, I will be answering it live here. If you're watching the recording, stay tuned. Please stay all the way to the end. I'm doing a contest too. You might be able to win something. So listen up and watch. So the first question I went ahead and took some time. I looked through my emails and I got some viewer questions. I put them together. So I thought I'd just jump on here and answers them. If you end up joining the chat room, you can ask some questions there. So the first question is, how do you like pair programming? Seems like an odd way of working. And this is from one of the email questions that I got. So if you guys don't know, pair programming is a type of programming where you and another individual sit in front of a computer. You actually don't need to be in the same location. I've done pair programming over a program called Screen Hero. And it's you and another person, and you both, usually there's someone that's driving and then there's someone that's watching. And the person that's driving usually does some typing or coding, and then the person watching gives their input and feedback onto what you're writing. So you kind of have two eyes looking at the code at the same time, which I've done it here in my work I'm in right now. Our code base is we do some HTML, JavaScript. We do a lot of Java too. And I actually found it pretty useful. It just depends on the skill levels of the person you're pair programming with. If someone is more senior and they're watching you code, that seems to be a better way to go, because the senior individual can come in and give you feedback while you're coding. And then if you're a little more junior, then you can kind of really take that feedback while you're coding and get some best practices. On the other hand, if the person that's driving is a lot more skilled than you are, and maybe you're a little more junior and you're just watching, I find that not quite as useful, as helpful. At times you may be asking the driver more questions, slowing them down. If you don't have good feedback to give, it's not as useful. If you're two programmers on the same level, definitely that works as well. So it just depends on how comfortable you are. Some people I know, hey, what's up, Win? Yeah, I know some people hate this type of pair programming. It's actually, it comes from there's a lot of different programming paradigms and methodologies. One is called Agile, and Agile is a type of, I'm not going to do it justice. It's a kind of a bigger topic, but it's where you have these stand-up meetings where people usually have like 10 or 15-minute meetings. Everyone stands up and then you talk about the code that you're writing. You have sprints. So you have this tight way of you're doing programming and development. And usually, and part of that is pair programming. You might also have scrums, which kind of also part of the stand-up meetings. You have an iterative process with your development where you have these tight loops where you're constantly getting feedback and making changes based on the customer feedback and other feedback. So I've been in development environments like that. I think pair programming is great. It's definitely not for everyone. So, like I said, some developers hate it, but I think it's really useful, and it's not strange or odd for me at all. And I think a lot of really good development groups use it. I mean, depends on the project and the group, but I think it works out well. So the next question I have is, Erik, I appreciate your material. One thing that would be helpful for me would be something about best practices for organizing code, especially when there's a large amount of it. So I have a couple of thoughts on this. So if you have a code base that has a lot of code in it, so of course it depends on, I mean, there's, to the answer of many things, it depends. But in general, when you have a large code base and you want to organize code, if you're using like a framework or a library, or let's stick with a framework, then you want to use the conventions of that framework. And usually one popular way is the MVC architecture, which is have model, view, and controller, where you have data, you separate the data and your code into these three separate places, where maybe your database information is more in the model, and you have the view, which kind of modifies things at different places, and you have the controller that kind of modifies the view, and view is like more of the GUI. But that would be one kind of thought right off the top of my head. Another, there's a few like basic principles that you should know in software development. One is dry, which is don't repeat yourself. In other words, you want to really be careful to not have to reduce code duplication. You don't want to have a bunch of duplicate code everywhere. You also want to, of course, use your functions and methods. Depending on what kind of code you're writing, you may want to reduce the size of your subroutines, your methods, so that way they're concise. One other thing, the enemy of dry is wet, and wet is kind of an acronym, kind of a funny acronym. Some people call it write everything twice, or we enjoy typing, or waste everyone's time. So in that case, that is not what you want to do. You don't want to have your architecture of your program where you're rewriting everything in big chunks all over the application. I mean, it's easy to do that. I mean, some people, there's this type of programming called cargo cult programming, where you're literally, you have no idea what you're doing, and you're just kind of like copying and pasting code together, and you're not really understanding the principles of software development or good design, and you don't want to do that. So you want to be concise. Another thing I like to bring up is Yagni. You aren't going to need it, so try to have a simple direction for every single method or function that you're using. You're going to reduce what you have inside your methods to something very simple, and you're going to take out the things that you don't need. So when you're writing your software, you don't want to write huge bloated code that does a million things. You want to try to separate it down, and that could be also a part of taking your code and doing some test-driven development, where you write your tests first, and your tests drive how you write your actual programs. And you can really find out that you really start off with the simplest things, like you write a test case, does it return this? And then you just hard code that in, return this. And then you write another test case. Now this is this scenario, and then you change your method. So you can kind of having this very focused method that passes all your test cases, and you're really taking out all the stuff that you don't need out of it. So you want to keep that in mind. And then there's one other principle you want to keep in mind is KISS, which is keep it simple, stupid. What's up, the Ice Blade Network? So every time you write your tests, or excuse me, every time you write your programs, you just want to keep it simple. Like, don't overcomplicate things, and make sure that it has a single function and it does what it says it's going to do. But you don't want to overcomplicate things. So another question I got is, should you use Ember.js in larger projects? Is it too clunky? So I am a devotee of the Ember.js world. I also really like Vue.js, but React and Angular are great too. And Ember.js is an evolving framework. It's an older framework, but it's still in a 6-week release cycle. They also have every 6 months long-term support, an LTS release. And it is being actively coded on. There's many large companies using it, including Intercom and LinkedIn, and Netflix has a huge Ember code that they use internally. And yeah, it's really, when you think about these all these frameworks, really, Ember.js and React and Vue, you have to think of the solution that you want to accomplish, and not necessarily the technology behind it. All these frameworks they do fine in larger projects. I mean, you occasionally see people that don't understand the principles of Ember.js or React or Vue and complain about it when they try to create a project, but I can tell you from personal experience that it's not clunky. You can definitely do everything you need with it to build your app. It has a pretty good ecosystem. It follows certain conventions, but you can break out of those conventions to do what you want inside your program. And so it's very flexible that way. So yeah, I mean, sure, you definitely, it's used in bigger projects all the time. I wouldn't shy away for it. That wouldn't be a reason I wouldn't use it. Hey, what's up, Matt? Exorcism is a nice set of exercises. Yep, that is, yeah, exorcism.io. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's another tool that you can use that you can use to kind of learn different languages and frameworks, and it has a bunch of things you can do. It also has some good tests. One quick question here. Besides the docs, what resources would be recommended for Ember.js? Well, now that you mention it, I will give a plug. I did write a book on Ember.js, so if you look for Pact Publishing, or just look up Ember.js cookbook. It has over 63, I wish I had it near my desk. It has over 63 different kind of cookbook recipes. It's still relevant today. I use Ember 2.0, so you can definitely use that to learn Ember.js. I also have a couple of resources that I like to look at. A couple of blogs. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but I will include those in the description next time I do it. I update the video, that is. Jen Weber, how to learn Ember.js in a hurry. I haven't heard of that, Matt, but that might be another one you can check out. So, next question I had, and I'll wrap this up here. And also, I have a giveaway, so stay tuned. What do you think? How to make at least $5,000 a month online, like by doing remote jobs or teaching or whatever? I'm an Indian developer, and I work on with Top Coder. I should have given. I forgot to put people's names on these questions, but these are actual questions I had in my email. So this person, I did end up talking to this person already, and they are a developer, and they're in India, and they were trying to figure out like how to make it online. And kind of the go-to answer I always say with that is, you have to. You can definitely look for jobs, and some companies will hire you remotely, and if you're a good Indian developer, just like you're a good US developer or any developer around the world, you can show your skills and get the jobs, and that's going to be a lot of hard work. It's going to be a lot of creating a portfolio and applying for jobs. One way if you can make it, if you're not looking the traditional remote job route, is to try to build like an online portfolio, do some personal branding, create like a blog or YouTube channel, and then maybe sell your services that way, freelance that way, so you can build a reputation first, which I always think is a great idea. That might be also including make sure your LinkedIn is updated. I did a video, both me and Dylan from Coding Tutorials 360 did a video recently on some tips on how to land a coding job, and a lot of it was you had to figure out a way to stand out from the crowd. And so that could be one way you can make money online. If you're an entrepreneur, you can think of teaching your own courses. That's a little bit of what I do. I create books, I teach courses, I do this YouTube stuff for free, and you know, I have a lot of fun. So there's a lot of ways you can make money online. Okay, so I need to learn coding. What are some resources? So real quickly, I mean, my channel, YouTube, my channel, if you go to erik.video, if you're watching this YouTube channel, you know, click that subscribe button. I teach video courses. There's a lot of really good YouTube channels. Like I said before, Dylan's channel is pretty good. There's Traversing Media. There's quite a few. Coding Train I like. For codes, I really like Udemy. I put links to my favorite courses below for Udemy. So if you ever want some great courses, Colt Steele's The Complete Web Developers course is on there. And I believe Udemy is having a sale this week again, which is good. I think you can get these courses for like $10, so check that out too. All right, so we're getting a little long here. I'm going to open up the browser. Okay, so this is a video I did a little while back. Let me see here. And I asked everybody that was in here to tell me a little bit about themselves. And this is one of my videos I did where I talked to people and they were telling me about what they were doing. So let me see here. I'm going to look on my channel here. I was going to do a contest. And don't remember if this is the right one. I think I said if you watch this to the end of the video, I would give someone in the comments a free copy of my book, which I will do that now. And so this is a free ebook version of my book. If you go to Vue.js in action, you can see it. And this is a Vue book. So I saw there's about 21 people in this list of all these comments. So I'm just going to randomly choose, actually 22. So I'm going to randomly choose 8. So I'm just going to count from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. David Basil, you have won a free book. I have actually emailed him before. So I will email him and I will give him a free copy of my book, Vue.js in Action. So I will send that copy off to him for that. And also I have a 1-year subscription to another video. If you haven't seen this week, I've been doing videos on the front-end masters. I will create another video for that. I have a giveaway for those guys too, but for this one I just wanted to get that out. So thank you so much for watching. Actually, if you're live here in the chat room, let me know if you're interested in the book. I might give away one random person in the chat room the book too, since you guys watched. So if you're still here in the chat room, let me know and I will take the random amount of people here and I will give one book away if you're still here. So you have to say something in the chat room. So the Iceblade Network, I see you're still here. Matt Payne, I'm not sure. So let me look at the participants. Okay, the Iceblade Network, email me at oh hey Slothman, you're here. Still here. Oh, we got a few. Oh, there's a few people. Okay. So I got 4 people here. So Slothman, Iceblade, Win, Matt. Okay, let's do the random drawing. So we'll say 1 is Iceblade, 2 is Sloth, 3 is Win, 4 is Matt. Let's see which one wins. I'm just randomly generate it. 2. So Sloth. You know, we'll do one more. 2 and 4, Sloth and Matt. I will give you a free copy of my book. All you need to do is email me. If you go to my GitHub, github.com/ErikCH. Hey, can you see it here? I have my email here. So email me and I'll get you a free ebook version copy of my Vue.js in Action book. I only have the first 5 chapters are out. So I'm still working on it. It should be completed soon, so it's in action, but you'll get every update until it's completed. So thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. So thank you. Keep watching. If you like these videos, click that subscribe button and share this video with other people. That's really awesome. I appreciate it. Take care. Later.